am joined by Tyson and Amanda, and I'm going to have them do a little bit better introductions here in a second. But let me tell you what we want to accomplish in this hour together. So we'll talk a little bit with Amanda and Tyson and their roles in helping build our community in an exciting way. I'm going to give them a word math problem, and it's not as difficult as it sounds, but it's just a way for us to think about this interesting connection between attracting talent and building community and what that really looks like and why it's important to think of both of those things together. And then I've got some questions for them that they're going to answer for us, and we get to listen to their responses. We'll do a little bit of a recap of the last sessions. We had a first discussion on state of the workforce, then we had a talent recruitment. You also heard from some local real estate professionals on what's going on in our housing market. We had a great discussion on workforce education and the alignment between workforce needs and what's happening in education. And then yesterday, great opportunity to learn more about our Space to Place program and announce the winners of the 2021 Space to Place. And Tyson was one of those winners. And then I'm going to share some lists with you because I kind of like to think about that. And here are the lists that I'll share with you, and then any feedback that you have on that. So I'll share with you what I call the 10 things that you need to check off on, the top 10 things to assure that you have a strong talent attraction program as a community. And so we'll walk through that list and see how many of those we can check off. And then I'll share with you what I'm calling the 8 priority projects for Billings that could catapult our competitiveness in attracting talent forward. And then I'm going to share with you 5 simple things that we can actually do next week that I think would make a difference that way. And so we'll do that toward the end. So let's start with some introductions. And Amanda, we're going to start with you. Amanda is one of our Better Off in Billings ambassadors. And so I want to have Amanda just tell you a little bit about herself. And when you answer that question, Amanda, tell us where your hometown was. We know where your hometown is. Tell us where your hometown was and what brought you to Billings, and then what keeps you in Billings. So we'll start with Amanda, and then Tyson, we'll go to you, same questions.
My name is Amanda. As Steve had said, I am a Better Off in Billings ambassador, but I am also an employee at Billings Clinic, and I'm a current student at MSUB. And I ended up in Billings because my husband is actually a professor at MSUB, recruited from Seattle U. And when we had the opportunity to think of the next place, Montana was something that very much excited us. We love the outdoors. I grew up originally in the plains of Minnesota, so about as flat as you can get. You can stand on a chair and watch your dog run away for a week. But yeah, so to be surrounded by mountains and our bluffs, every day I'm thankful when I wake up and see this gorgeous land site. You know, excited to be part of this because, you know, every time people ask, well, why Billings? You know, we've, because of my husband's job, we have moved around quite a bit since we've been together, living in large cities, small cities. This is our 4th state that we've lived in since we've been married. And, you know, Billings is like that perfect size, right? So it has all of our amenities. It keeps us here because, you know, it has the airport, it has fun food places, it has some shopping, but it's not so big. It, you know, it doesn't take hours to commute. It doesn't take, you know, weeks ahead of time to plan what I'm going to do to see a friend or get out and enjoy the city. You know, if it's been a long day, I can go walk on the rims and just get away from people. So, you know, that's something that definitely keeps us and that we enjoy. You know, I think the restaurants, the exciting new things, the mindset of, you know, people like you who are all listening is definitely something that also keeps us.
Thanks, Amanda. And you didn't tell the group you're a student at MSUB, but you're graduating. With your
Yes.
master's in healthcare administration, right?
Yes, so I have a master's in allied health, and so I decided to be a glutton for punishment and go back for a second master's.
My goodness. And boy, such a critical need in that area right now. Healthcare is such an essential part of our region. And then we need strong leaders in that space. And so your training, your experience, you're going to just do great things regionally with that credential that you've just added to your dossier. Tyson, let's just as you take a drink there, bud, let's have you do an introduction. And give us a little bit of your background. Tell us where your hometown is, what keeps you in Billings. And then I'm curious, Tyson, what is the Underground Culture Crew? So explain that to me as part of your introduction.
All right. Hello, everybody. Good morning. My name's Tyson Middle. I'm born and raised in Billings, but did take some time out and moved to Wyoming. So from third grade till the time I graduated, I grew up in a really tiny, small town in Grable, Wyoming. Billings has always had my heart, though. I've got a lot of family up here, friends. We always did the 2.5 hour commute to shop and do all the things that we did growing up in a very rural, small town. I claim Billings. I rarely let the Wyoming thing out if I have to. I enjoy Wyoming. I enjoy passing through it. I don't enjoy being there as much. It's a little too small. It's not as forward thinking as some things. I definitely enjoy it though, and appreciate the family that I still do have there and the chance to travel through it. I love Billings. Billings has had my heart for a long time. It's got a lot to offer. We're growing a lot. There's a lot of opportunity here, some chances. And like Amanda said, it's not too big yet. I would like it to grow a little bit bigger and be able to offer some more things. So with that being said, I at one point realized there was some type of art missing from Billings, and I like a different kind of art. I grew up around trains, graffiti, skateboarding, a lot of aspects of my life that played into what became what I call Underground Culture Crew. It's a business that I own and operate. We've been in business now for 8 years. We just kind of started out as a business that thought we'd be just selling some spray paint and doing some small things here and there. And it's grown into this really awesome, amazing opportunity that we get the community involved. We paint a lot of large scale murals. We do tons of stuff with the youth, lots of organizations like the Chafee Foster Kids, Tumbleweed. Our big main focus is youth, and a lot of that stems from my psychology degree that I got from MSUB. Always trying to help the kids, the youth, and get things involved. So Underground Culture Crew is an art gallery. We do sell a lot of different types of supplies that are more orientated towards, we will say, the spray paint, the aerosol art world. We have markers, spray paint. It's owned and operated by myself. I do have a business partner in it, which happens to be my mom. She's an amazing lady, has been able to support us through a lot of stuff, and is always there for me. I'm the name and the face of it. Sometimes I jokingly say she's my not so silent partner sometimes, but we wear many hats, and I'm very proud of where we're at and what we're doing with it. We've done a lot of really cool things in the past 8 years. I never would have thought we would be where we're at within the Billings community, because when we first opened up, we had a lot of pushback. I was told I wasn't going to last 6 months in this community. There's no way we could do what we're doing. We're promoting an illegal art form and all these things that came out of it, cops, law enforcement, a lot of hate mail, a lot of bad emails, etc., from a lot of people trying to push us out. Once you get to know me and see what we're about, you get past all that and you realize that I do have a big heart and passion for our community, for putting paint and color up in the right way, the legal way, and being able to express a different way that we do things. Mad respect to everybody out there that is doing what they're doing with art. Large scale murals, etc. If you guys want to take that brush and spend 14 million hours doing it, that's a-okay. We will grab the spray cans and do it in a day or so or less or whatever. So we definitely enjoy what we're doing. I'm very honored to be a part of another Space to Place grant. We got the opportunity 2 years ago to do one, and I think it was a home run. It was probably one of the largest things we've done to date at that time. The community got involved. We got kids from all the local schools, and it was an amazing experience. We went down there and fought through a typical Montana spring. It snowed on us one weekend, rained on us, and we actually got sunburnt on the last weekend. So,
And Tyson, that's the pedestrian underpass under Shiloh, right? Shiloh?
Yes, that is the Shiloh underpass out there, kind of by the Tenderness. It's an awesome walking path. We kind of detailed that towards like a welcome to Billings, a greetings from Billings. The original pitch was kind of like a postcard type thing, and once we realized how much concrete and what we had to do, we stretched it out, changed some things, did some stuff on the fly. And then we did the honeycomb stuff on the other side, which has been a huge success. When we paint murals and do stuff, we always try to incorporate art, some graffiti, letter structure, characters if we can, and just anything to kind of incorporate everything that we are. We're not just graffiti. So.
Thanks, Tyson.
Thank you.
And I'm excited to see your next project at the skate park. Okay, here's your word problem.
Okay.
So I said math, it's more of a word problem. Okay, so listen closely. And I would do this for the audience too. Talent wants to be in a community that invests in itself, in the quality of place. Business wants to be where talent wants to be. If these two statements are true, and if we want to grow economically, what should we do as a community? Okay, so I'll read that again really quick. Talent wants to be in a community that invests in itself, in the quality of place. Business wants to be where talent wants to be. If these two statements are true, and if we want to grow economically, what should we do as a community? Who wants to tackle that one first? All right, Amanda. I'll just pick on you. I know your brain is saturated with all this learning you've been doing. What should we do as a
out one of the two? I think to me the easy answer is talent attraction, and not only outside of our community, but growing the talent that we have in our community. I think I've met so many people that are transplants to Billings that when you get to talking to them, they're doing one position, but their history, their background, their work experience are underutilized. And I think if we can develop and learn who we have and promote that from our businesses, we might find more talent than we even realize that we have here.
Amanda, you're going to love the 10 checkoff points for a successful talent attraction program, because you've stated a few of those important checkoffs as a community. All right, Tyson, how would you answer that question?
In order for us to continue to grow and attract and do what we're doing here, like Amanda kind of stated, we have a lot of local talent, and I think there's a great opportunity for that to not be taken advantage of, but to actually invest in, build, and help grow. I think there could be a few more resources out there for people like this grant, for instance, having the ability to use some grant money and things like that to help build the community and invest in it. Obviously, to get the people involved is a great thing, to have them take ownership in it, to have them help, to have them build, to help them be a part of it. And once we're able to add more color, add more culture, add more attraction, and also build what we currently have and what we used to have as well, I think we can get different types of people in here. Billings does have a lot to offer, but we can definitely have that opportunity to grow and change and build from what we do have. So I think they all go hand in hand very well. One kind of plays off the other. If we invest in the talent, then we can get the economy to help grow and build the community along the way as well.
Yeah, they're very much interrelated. So think of it this way. In the real estate world, they talk, when you're going to buy a home, there's a mantra they use that encourages a smart investment in a home, and it is location, location, location. Because the quality of your neighborhood really matters to the experience you're going to have and the investment that you're making in that home. And then if you go to resell it, The new buyer is going to say, location, location, location. What's the quality of the neighborhood in that home that I'm looking at? So in the same way, the quality of our community speaks volumes to our ability to retain talent and attract new talent. And so the way I would answer the question that I posed to all of us was to say, if we really want to succeed economically, it starts with investing in the quality of our community, because that means our neighborhood will be quality, and people want a quality neighborhood. So they want to be in a community that is quality and grows and is investing in itself. And then business follows that, right? Business will gravitate to where they know talented is. So if we want to attract new investment in our community through new private sector growth, new job growth, we have to demonstrate to that business that we're a place talent wants to be. So a short answer is, you want to succeed economically, attract and retain talent, invest in yourself, invest in the quality and the amenities of the community. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. We had great conversations over the last few days. And the first one we had on Monday that really kind of got into, because it was all data and statistics on where we're going as a state and local area in terms of our workforce. And so I don't know, Amanda, you were probably busy finishing something with your schoolwork, and so I'm not gonna require this of you. But if you tuned in on Monday, Tyson, maybe you were on, or others, there were some takeaways that I got from Barbara Wagner, who's an economist with the state. One of the things she said is that in Yellowstone County, we had that cycle of that peak in last April of the high unemployment rate, and then it came down pretty dramatically, and we've kind of restored our economy. But in that process, we've lost 2,317, so 2,317 people are no longer working. So those folks that were part of that active workforce decided for whatever reason to not get reconnected, at least yet, in looking at the numbers and the data. So taking 2,300 people out of the workforce, and for whatever reason, could have been things in their life, maybe retirement, maybe they just wanted to do something, whatever their reason was, we've taken that economic activity and we've put it on the sideline, which will impact total wages and economic growth. So we're doing good, but there has been that job loss. Interesting, on a state level, the state lost about 7,500 jobs statewide. So we're a big chunk of the state economic activity. So we lost the state lost 7,500 jobs. One thing Barbara shared that I thought was really interesting is, notwithstanding taking 7,500 people out of the workforce, paying taxes, being a part of that economic activity, wage growth actually increased from 2019 to 2020, as you get into the latter part of the year, by 7.8%, or $613 million more in wages circulating in the Montana economy. So we took people took themselves out of the workforce, haven't come back yet, but there has been wage growth in 2020. I thought that was a very interesting number. Something Barbara said, which I've felt, we had a workforce talent issue prior to COVID-19. We still have a workforce talent issue in our community and in our state, and it's maybe exaggerated and amplified, maybe is a better word, by what we've experienced last year, setting some people aside. Every business I go into, from a coffee shop to a manufacturer, is starving for talent. And so that if we want to really move our economy forward, based on the numbers that Barbara shared, but also what we understand as we talk to the business community, we really have to address talent in our community and in our state. So that was my takeaway from Monday's dialogue. I don't know if Amanda or Tyson, either of you had any insight from, if you had a chance to listen to those numbers, or reflecting on that, if you have any thoughts to add.
Yeah, kind of being a getting my math homework in, Steve. I was just figuring that out. That's like 30.5% of the state's workforce is right here in Billings. That's like you said, that's very substantial. I think, if we can identify, Billings is such a community that local is important. Buying local, being part of local, creating a local identity. I think it'd be really interesting to do some kind of internal surveys of what specifically within our population here in Billings is keeping people from rejoining that workforce. If we have gaps, whether it be daycare, full-time work, things like that, that we can solve, it might be a good place to start to increase and reduce some of those employment gaps.
Yeah, and I think daycare is one of those dynamics. One thing I learned, a new term from an economist, I hadn't heard this before, it's called reservation wage. And we were curious, what do you mean by that? And so it's the wage level required for a worker to overcome the reservations they may have in returning to work. And so those reservations might be, I don't have transportation, daycare costs too much, whatever those factors are. In order to pull that person kind of back into the market, the wage has to be high enough to overcome the reservations they have with life and other responsibilities and financial impediments, or just the logistics of having to get to work. And so that I think is part of what you're saying, Amanda. There, daycare and other things, there are things at play that keep those people sidelined. Some of it could have been retirement, and it was just a good time. The stock market had been doing so good. I don't know where it is this week, but that their accounts looked good and they figured, let's grab it while we can and move on. Or maybe they sold their house for a lot of money and decided to go retire in warmer climates. I'm not sure what they did, but some of those you can't overcome, but some potentially with the right decisions as a community, we could overcome and re-engage some of that workforce. We had a great conversation with realtors. I always love listening to Julie Seedhouse and both her enthusiasm and passion for our community, but also her role in the real estate community and just what that looks like. One thing she said to me the other day, and then I heard it again, she said she's to the point at which she's selling dirt, like vacant lots, where people then can build a home. And she said, don't expect to walk in. If you bought a lot today, you're not walking in your house until late in the fall, just given the dynamics with building and the trades and not finding subs and supply chain, all those kinds of issues. We have probably record low numbers of listings of homes. And so the demand's high, but the inventory is really low. And that's what's driving up costs. I just learned the other day that the average sale price of a home in the fourth quarter of this year, so January, February, March, was $348,000 in Yellowstone. So we had been hovering at a kind of a average sale price in the twos, and just the pressure on the market, then the high twos, and now in the 300,000. Now we're nowhere near where they are in Gallatin County at well over 600,000, but still for Billings, that average sale price of 348,000 in the first quarter of this year tells a lot about the pressure on that market. So if you want to attract talent, that whole housing component is a really big part of that. So I don't know if you, Tyson, I don't know if you've been out buying homes or something lately, but we're all experiencing what a tight housing market looks like. And I think it can become a drag on our economy if we're not careful.
Oh yeah, I'm very fortunate. A little over a year and a half ago, I got my first house, and I think we got in right at the perfect opportunity. I honestly want to get into a second house and start doing some investment properties and stuff like that. And there's a house in my neighborhood that I have my eyes set on, but it is astronomically way too much money for what they want. So it's put the damper on things. I also want to expand at my house and do some stuff, and the cost of building supplies right now and things like that have really put me on the back burner where, okay, my garage can wait. We can get a bigger garage later. We'll do with what we have. But yeah, just from the small world, in the sense, I mean, live in the big world, but the small world that I live in, I also work at Stillwater Mine full time on top of everything I do. So we've experienced a ton of stuff out there where people's houses are selling within minutes in that Columbus, Absaroka area, sight unseen, cash on hand. And we've been bringing in a lot of people and moving people in to move and to work for Stillwater and stuff like that. So housing for them has been a very tough thing to find. A lot of them want to be closer to the mine, you know, than Billings. They want to be in that, 30, 45-minute range rather than that hour and a half that I am. So the pressure of housing has been very real and brought to the forefront of my world with everything that's going on. So it's a weird thing. It's a weird time right now. 348,000. That's quite a bit in my eyes for Billings. It might be chump change to others, but in my eyes, that's a very significant number right there. I know what I paid for my house and where we're at, and I know what some of these guys are paying for in the Columbus, Absaroka area, and it's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Some of the other things I learned from that conversation, we had a couple of recruiters. So by recruiters, I mean folks who work for companies in our community that are trying to recruit talent, one in healthcare and one in professional services. And one of the comments that I'll just paraphrase here, it was a little bit of a challenge for recruiting some of the professionals pre-COVID-19. You know, there may have been a desire to Montana, and so then maybe they gravitate to Missoula or Bozeman just as a kind of a natural response to, hey, let's go to Montana. And they would look at Billings, and maybe there was something about it that they were maybe hesitating about a little bit, which I think is true for Billings until you get off the interstate and are in the heart of our community, and it awakens a whole new perspective on our community. I think when you've spent a day or two here and understand culture and what we are all about and the amenities that we have. Anyway, they said that now post-COVID, those conversations they're having on recruitment are new, fresh, and that Billings is taking on a whole new perspective for people because it's the right size, but not too big. There's not a commute issue to worry about. They generally feel safe in our community. The size is conducive for a family. The quality of schools is healthy for our community. So talent is taking a fresh look at Billings, which I was really encouraged by. Doesn't mean that we've got it all figured out, but it means that we have an opportunity as people are looking at us to really lean into that and start to both retain and capture new talent. So any comments on that? I just thought if you're recruiting talent right now, Billings looks good and people are taking a second look at Billings. We also had a great discussion on the alignment of workforce needs and education. I was so encouraged by listening to all those really smart people talk about the work they're doing. And the one thing I really took away from this was there is an essential partnership between those delivering education, including at our K through 12 level, the Career Center, City College, MSUB, Rocky Mountain College, other training that's going on in our community. Such an essential partnership that they're cultivating with the private sector. So there's this joint table that we had been calling and continue to call Billings Works, and participating at that table together and collaborating and solving problems and addressing workforce. That whole partnership approach was a really important theme that came from that. And the other theme was creating a pipeline, a talent pipeline in our community, and start cultivating our future talent at a younger and younger level. Dan Carter was on, and he's so engaged in STEM, Billings, and just encouraging our young people to think of science, technology, engineering, math, and what that might mean to a future. And so that whole building that talent pipeline, introducing and exposing our kids to just the career opportunities that are present in our very own community is a really important ingredient to addressing the alignment of education and workforce. So that was a group of really smart people talking about a very important opportunity for us to retain and attract talent. Amanda, you have a thought?
Yeah, I was thinking, so as I shared, I'm at Billings Clinic, and this last year I've been working in the pharmacy department, and that in itself has been interesting. But in the last couple of months, we've had quite a few interviews, and I'm part of helping bring those candidates in. Hello to our recruiter. I see her on here as well. But I was just going through the list, and in the last month, pharmacy alone at Billings Clinic, we interviewed someone from Kentucky, Connecticut, Virginia, Oregon, and South Carolina. Beyond the local Montana, Wyoming candidates as well. And what struck me is these young professionals and they're all young, wanting to move to Billings and asking them these questions, why Billings? That's my first question in these interviews is, why Billings? How does it fit into your life right now? And they're just so excited and they want to see it all. And I've been giving them lists of places to eat and, hikes to take while they're here. And thanks to our HR people, we've allowed them to a couple of days to explore and, sending them the Better Off in Billings links, the chamber links, so they can get to know us. But, everything we have to offer, I don't know if we all truly realize what a gem that we're sitting on.
Yeah.
Just making sure that we invite these individuals and really share what we're all about. Because people want to come here, young professionals from all over the country. And like I said, that's just within the last month and a half of interviews.
That's exciting. Tyson, the last episode that we had of Better Off in Billings yesterday, I was so excited to see your Space to Place project, but the multiples of other projects, I think if I'm remembering right, and someone online can put in the chat, but I think we've done 21 total projects so far. And then I think yesterday, Marcel maybe helped me out with this with the post. I think we awarded 9 additional grants for more Space to Place grants. So Tyson, as a grant recipient, explain to our group today, in your words, what is the net benefit of this Space to Place program?
Oh, there's a lot of benefits, honestly. One of the best ones is just the community reaction, the community involvement. We're taking a space that sometimes may be drab, have a lot of illegal graffiti activity, maybe just be blank concrete, etc. And we're taking it and transforming that space into something that is maybe sought after. It brightens the space up and adds character and value to it. We are leaps and years behind and decades behind other places that I reference to quite often, Denver, Seattle, a lot of places that are very art centered and have a lot of culture and history. But I do like where we're heading in the growth and the opportunity for people to add more art, whether it's statues, paintings, murals, etc. So when we are doing these things, some of the best things for us, and it's real small, simple things. We'll be painting the mural and people are just stopping in awe and how did this come to be? And how are you doing this and why? And all the things, they really get intrigued by it. They want to take pictures of it. They want to talk to you about it. They want to know who you are. They want to know why you're doing it. And it brings that community involvement part where people just want to, maybe they don't want to get full-fledged involved like I am in painting murals and putting names and face to places and stuff, but they want to be a part of their community and know who you are, what you're about, and why you're doing it, and all the resources and the people involved in it. So it's a great experience. We've had a ton of fun. Like I said, we've been painting in town for 8 years now. We've done a few things with grants and opportunities with organizations and stuff to do, and it's a really good way to give back to the community. It's an amazing way to leave my mark in Billings. I take great pride in Billings, and I want to see different things with Billings. And if I can put my twist and my spin on it and put forth my effort to do it and have some other people help me along the way and encourage and build, I'm all about it. One of my good friends and colleagues, told me I'm making history in Billings, and it took her to say that to me to realize that we got some really cool things here. We are doing some stuff on the forefront of Billings, and I'm very proud and very fortunate to be involved with it. And it's helping build our community. It's I have younger kids and I have an older foster kid and stuff, and to see both of their aspects and how they partake on the art and what they think of it, and their involvement and their help and the family aspect. And I'm just really super proud to be a part of it and to be able to have the opportunity to do it and leave our mark in Billings. It's a great thing. And we do a lot of the stuff for the youth and the kids. The heart and soul of what we have and do is youth related. So
that's great. Okay, in just a moment, I'm going to share 3 lists with you. I'm going to share our 10-point checklist so that we can grade how we're doing in our talent attraction efforts. Then I'm going to share with you the 8 priority projects that I think can really make a difference in our community. And then I'm going to share 5 simple things we can do next week that'll make a real difference in talent retention and attraction in community development. But before I do that, I have a question for you two. If you were in charge, next Monday morning, we give you the keys to the city. You can make any decision that you want to make. You are in charge. What one thing would you do to help build our community and make us more attractive for talent retention and attraction? You've got to pick just one thing. You're in charge. No one can question it. We'll all follow whatever you decide you're going to do. We're going to be behind you. That's pretty risky of me to say that. I trust you both greatly. So what's one thing you would do? Amanda, we'll start with you.
Oh, that's a tough one. Okay, I know this is not going to be popular, so I'm just going to preface my comments before I say them. Zoning, realign our zoning within Billings city limits. There's multiple facets, obviously, to that. But I think that what we have could be enhanced more than what we are doing right now as a city. If we had some different types of restrictions and zoning kind of permits allowed within city limits.
Okay, awesome. If I'm reading between the lines, tighten the expectation, like we just zone so that we can have good quality. Is that where we're headed, or just create more flexibility in that process?
You know, I think for me, it would be like, you know, when I think of certain neighborhoods, how can we enhance what we have by increasing the presence of businesses that would enhance that specific area without adding businesses that are great businesses but may deter others to that area. Okay. You know, I'm sitting right now presenting from MSUB, and you know, being the wife of an academic, I've been on many college campuses, and I just wish that there was more presence of you know, little coffee shops and different things like that around this campus that would make it feel a little more campusy. I know that's not a word, but you know, I could attract more young professionals, young students. We may not have, you know, a football team like Bozeman or Missoula, but we could create the urban campus feel. You know, we came from Seattle U, which heart of downtown Seattle, and they were still able to create that campus feel in such a middle of that urban area.
Okay, absolutely. Good example. Tyson, how about you? One thing.
I hate to kind of piggyback off that, but she nailed it, zoning. But my zoning is more towards, I would like to see downtown grow and build. And I've tried to do some stuff personally downtown by buying properties and getting involved. And once zoning and coding gets involved, it's a nightmare. I had some pretty good hopes and goals and dreams to do something to some stories of a floor there and get some housing and businesses and things moving and shaking. And they came in and pretty much squashed it. And what was a minimal, normal, foreseeable project cost-wise became into this astronomical millions upon millions upon millions that just wasn't not my grasp. So I'd like to see more housing downtown, affordable housing. I hate to say it, put in a couple of 30 high rises and get some people down there. We need more foot traffic in downtown Billings. We need more people living there. We need more people attracting there, wanting to be there. My heart and soul is in downtown. I've been down there for 8+ years with the business. It's a love-hate relationship though. There's a lot I like about it. There's a lot that disgusts me, and I would love to see some change. And I know there's a lot of parameters to make that happen. So I would just like to see some things build and grow from there. Downtown's struggling in my eyes as much as it is doing great things. It's a struggle when I compare it to a lot of the cities that I like to travel to and be a part of.
Always work to do. And one thing I've learned in my role in the community is your job's never done. There's always that step forward that you can take. And that's very true in business. It's all about, constant improvement and that next opportunity. And that's the same thing with the community. It's all right. I'm going to share my list. First list is a 10-point checklist. And so get out your writing utensils and write these down. And then in your own mind, you can decide how we're doing on these 10 points. And I didn't dream these up. I did a little research and said, how are other people evaluating their talent retention and attraction efforts? Okay, so here's the 10-point checklist. Number one, and there's a reason this is number one, and it's the whole reason of our conversation. Build quality of place. That has to be first. And in the research that I've done, they encourage to build an authentic environment for working, living, and socializing, encouraging folks to kind of what they call boomerang and come back, as well as attracting new, as well as retaining your existing community and talent. So build quality of place is the first essential to a talent retention and attraction. Second, find what makes you unique and who that appeals to. So you're doing discovery there. What makes us unique? And who does that appeal to? Amanda, you just gave us a great example of all these people that you're talking to that are being recruited, and you ask them, what's drawing you to Billings? So if we can discover what that is, what about Billings excites us? What about Billings excites others? And then lean into that. That's an important essential in our efforts. Third, tell your story. Better Off in Billings is all about telling the story of what it's like to be a part of this community as you work and live and raise a family and socialize and connect. I would encourage some of you to go to a website called, or a series called Tulsa Inspires. It's just another example of how a community tells their story about what it's like to live, in their case, in Tulsa. But in our case, we have to be effectively telling our story and doing even more with our Better Off in Billings platform. So that's number 3. Number 4, make the community sticky. And I read that and I thought, what do they mean by that? And what that's about, you have to pay attention to retaining the talent that you currently have. It's not just all about who can we bring to the community, because if we're not a sticky community and investing time and resources and energy and passion with our young talent through education and that talent pipeline, as well as young professionals and people working, we should be sticky. We should discover what keeps them here and do more of what keeps them here. So be a sticky community is number 4, and hold on to that talent. Number 5 is consider your students an asset and a source of new energy for your community. So all of the students we have at Rocky Mountain College, City College, MSUB, there's a wealth of opportunity for our community, and we should be doing what we can to capture that energy and view our students as an asset. Number 6, promote equity. So as we look to grow economically, we want to be a community that allows everyone to win and thrive and be a part of our community. Number 7, reach out to employers and engage them in your talent attraction efforts. So one of the things that we've done effectively, I think, and we're just in the starting stages, we've developed a recruiter toolkit so that Better Off in Billings can partner with folks in the industry who are recruiting talent for their companies and build that kind of partnership relationship, provide assets for them that helps their recruitment efforts. That's number 7. Number 8 is appoint community ambassadors. Amanda, look, you're a community ambassador. So I was reading this list and thinking, hey, we're doing a lot of these things. And that having those people that can connect with new folks or can be a part of that glue that helps retain young talent. So having ambassadors is really important. Number 9, innovate your housing models. So be open to the types of housing you develop. Not everyone wants a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home on a single family lot. There's dynamic nature to what housing looks like now. And so encourage development that is innovative. And then 10, incubate businesses and look to incubate innovative startup companies. We're doing that through our Rock 31 program. And so we're kind of leaning in that space right now, but that was what they felt was an important ingredient to attract talent, was also to start innovating or cultivating new innovative businesses and supporting startups and building your entrepreneurship, your ecosystem that way. So those are the 10 things that you should be doing if you want an effective talent attraction effort. Any comments on those 10? How do you think we're doing overall? What grade would you give us? Okay, anybody want to give us a grade? I don't know.
I'm gonna give us a B minus. And here's why.
Okay, all right, good.
Give us a B minus, right? Because we're above average. Average is C. But I always believe in room for improvement. And I think that we have these things, as you said, these ambassadors, these places to tell your story, the places, you know, Billings is really unique in being able to get young professionals involved. But there's still lots of room for improvement.
Absolutely.
You know, resources to recruit, making them easier, making more of them. My husband and I were just having this discussion this week because they're trying to fill a couple of positions here in his department, and they're actually flying in someone today from Michigan, and he's like, oh, where's those things? Where's those links? Send me what you think I should tell them. And as much fun as I have doing that, and knowing the resources that we have through Better Off in Billings, through the chamber, I wish there were more. Yeah, and he said, is there such a video that shows walking downtown and just pointing out things? I said, no, but you should make one. Or candidates staying at the Northern, is there anything that we can like point them in the direction of, you know, so they can get a quick snippet of what that's really like when it's busy and hustling and exciting? I said, no, not right now, but you know. So I give us a B minus because I believe we're above average, but I do think we should expand what we have and enhance what we have, and always room for improvement.
Okay, awesome. Hey, Tyson, we're running out of time. So just off the top of your head, what grade would you give us on that 10-point checklist? And then maybe a very brief explanation. Then I got 2 more lists to share, and then we're going to give out some prizes here in just a little bit. So, all right, how are we doing on our talent retention and attraction, Tyson?
I think there's definitely some room for improvement. I'd say we're in that B range. I don't want to throw the C range, but I definitely think we're right in that area. There's plenty of opportunity to build and grow. If we're settled where we're at, then there's no opportunity. And I think we could, housing for sure, and incubating some businesses. I think we could focus on a lot of, give more variety of businesses, encourage more businesses, support more businesses, and push the word. We have a lot of cool small businesses that are very unique, creative, and it's run by mom and pop, or, you know, a younger person, or all the things that come to be. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. I think the walking tours, videos, stuff like that to showcase Billings would be great.
Okay. So bees are good. You know, that's a start. It's a place to grow, right? It's a place to start. Okay, here's the next list. 8 priority projects that will build our competitive edge. Are you ready? Significant investment in parks and trails. Skyline Trail, we're on track to start to develop that project next year. I wish it was this year, but it's going to be next year, and that's a signature part of our community across the rims, and we're going to have a beautiful scale, beautiful trail project there. Development of Colson Park along the river connects us to that river corridor that's essential. Skyline Trail connects us in a greater way to the rims, and then Colson Park will connect us in a greater way to the river. 2 really essential things. I would also add Castle Rock Park and other community parks. So priority projects number 1 are the whole host of parks and trails projects that we have master plans for, that we just need to get serious to build out. So that's number 1. Second one, complete the modernization of our airport. It's in process now. Funding's in place. I will promise you that will start to distinguish our community as a community that's moving forward, a community that's investing in itself, and it's in process under the city leadership right now, and they're doing a great job with that. Number 3, take Metro Park to the next level. There's a great conversation going on right now about master planning Metro Park, building it for the next generation, for entertaining in a different way, which I'm very excited our county commissioners are leading that conversation now. It's been needed to have happen for a number of years, and now they're pushing that conversation, or leading it, or encouraging the community really to be a part of that conversation. And what'll do is that'll stimulate more growth and development along that corridor, which is the busiest thoroughfare in the state of Montana, and it's right at the doorstep of Metro Park. So that work is really important. Number 4, complete our Rock 31 Center for Entrepreneurship with the redevelopment of the Montana Bank building downtown to be a headquarters for Big Sky Economic Development, but a place where entrepreneurs can gather, connect with each other, connect with mentors, grow their innovative businesses. Remember the checklist on number 10 was incubate innovative new businesses. And so that's the effort we're trying to do there. Number 5, fight to stay affordable. One of the distinguishing characteristics of our community is that we are reasonably affordable in this region in terms of housing and other costs. And so we have a challenge to think strategically about how we're building housing, how we're accommodating housing in the future. So I don't have a specific project in mind, other than maybe 2 or 3 downtown housing projects that are similar to the Shiloh Crossings with retail wrap and housing above. That absolutely could happen in our downtown area. So, but part of that effort is by building those additional rooftops or housing opportunities, we're going to maintain our position as an affordable community, and that will be a competitive edge for us. Number 6, vision and pursue downtown redevelopment that connects the medical corridor to downtown in a significant way. I think that 6th Avenue just separates those 2 significant areas of our community. We see tremendous investment happening in the medical corridor. We need to envision what that connection looks like so it seems seamless, that the medical corridor is a part of a thriving downtown area in our community. Number 7, public safety investment now. Don't wait. Now's the time to do that. Make an important, significant, strategic, long-term investment in our public safety. And number 8, make significant investment and partnerships in medical education at all levels. We have great things going on at Rocky Mountain College. We have great things going on at MSUB. We have tremendous needs in our healthcare sector. We have opportunities to partnership for additional medical education. That we should be all in on building those opportunities, because I think that's going to be the distinguishing characteristic of our community going forward. And I just thought of a 9th. We have a great new chancellor at MSUB. We have a great president at Rocky Mountain College. We should do everything we can to support their initiatives to build and grow our college and university, essential to our future. So those are my 8/9 things that are priority projects that will build our competitive edge. And now, lastly, because I'm about out of time, 5 simple things we can do next week to make a real difference in talent retention and attraction. Okay, are you ready? Here they are. Clean up the highway corridor of the trash along I-90. We have a meeting coming up with Mac Long next week. I'm going to ask him how we can help do that. And just, you know, the winter months, wind, all that stuff, we just need to clean up that corridor with trash. Number 2, pave the parking lot at Zoo, Montana. Great place. Jeff has done such a fantastic job. We should find a way to get alongside him and get that parking lot paved. It would just create a, you know, that added value to us being the only place in the region that has a zoo. And he just announced a new vision for the development, more development on the zoo. We got a sloth now. We got all this stuff going on. Let's pave the parking lot. Number 3, ask the downtown Albertsons to reinvest and upgrade our downtown grocery store. So important. I know they're talking about that. I know they're talking to the city about it. They just need to make a new significant investment in an urban grocery center in our downtown corridor. Now, I give you that probably can't happen next week, but we can have the conversation next week to do that. Okay, number 4, did I lose track of my numbers? Number 4, embrace a competitive mindset. Okay, I know we don't want to compare ourselves to Bozeman, Missoula, or whoever else. I know we really have an issue with that. I'm not asking us to do that. But what I am saying is we need to realize that we are in competition to retain our talent. The talented people in our community are looking for where that next opportunity is. And people across the country are looking for where their next opportunity is. And we have to have a mindset that we're competing for that talent and that new private investment. And we need to show up to work every day with that mindset that I'm in a competition. What can I do to win that competition? And then 5th, and this was something that came out of the conversation either yesterday or the day before, and I thought it was so powerful. And we can do this today. We can do this right after we finish this meeting. Be kind and caring. One of the distinguishing characteristics that was shared about our community by one of the presenters this week was that they felt we were a kind and caring community. And if that's true and we do more of that, that more than anything else will be one of those distinguishing characteristics of our community that will position us well to retain and attract talent and build our community. So be kind and caring is essential to where we're going as a community. With that, I want to thank Tyson and Amanda for bearing with me and just being a part of this conversation on the intersection of talent and community development and how all that comes together and makes a big difference for where we're going. And I want to thank the whole team that's been working on Better Off in Billings, all the work, Marcel, that you and Carly have done, and others on our team just to make this week happen, all the presenters and participants that were a part of the dialogue we had together.
We just really appreciate your time this week, and I think we all really do feel like we are better off in Billings.